Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another brand new Division video. In today's video, it's going to be a weapon comparison video. We haven't done one of these in probably like a good 3 to 4 weeks. Probably, it's been at least a month, to be honest with you guys. But anyways, in today's video, we're going to be comparing the SVD or any version of SVD, whether or not it's a paratrooper or a surplus SVD. But we're going to be comparing the SVD alongside with the Urban MDR exotic assault rifle. I know you guys are already thinking you're going to compare an assault rifle with a marksman rifle. They really have no similarities at all. They're really not similar at all, and one of them is a lot better than the other. But in my personal opinion, I think that they are very similar, and the SVD, personally for me, is probably the closest you're going to get to a exotic MDR if you're unlucky and maybe you don't have an MDR by now. But obviously, the main reason why I'm making this is because a lot of people in my live stream, when I'm farming for new MDRs, obviously I already have one, but I want a better one than the one I have. When I'm farming for a new one, they always ask me, I don't have an MDR, what weapon maybe could I use with something like Sentry's Call or Strikers that maybe could be close to the MDR, or if not, maybe very similar to the MDR, because I don't have an MDR. And usually my recommendation is always something like a paratrooper SVD or a surplus SVD, in which my case I have a surplus SVD because I have the blueprint, obviously. But obviously one of them is a assault rifle and the other one is a marksman rifle. So we're gonna get right into this. Hopefully you guys do enjoy the video. If you guys do, make sure you guys drop a like on it, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and yeah, get right into it. So obviously, first off, I want to talk about the two main factors of these comparisons for these weapons. Obviously, since the Urban MDR is an exotic assault rifle, you have enemy armor damage on the weapon, and since the SVD is a marksman rifle, you have the headshot damage on it. So if you guys are a big person on enemy armor damage, you're going to want to use an MDR. If you're a big person that is extremely accurate with maybe something like Deadeye, or maybe even Sentry's Call, then you're going to be wanting using something like a marksman rifle, which obviously the surplus SVD would be a perfect weapon. Now, going into the damage a little bit, obviously there's like an 8k difference, which is usually around what it is, a 7 to 8k damage difference for these two weapons. But obviously you have to take away that the MDR is an assault rifle and also has 90 higher fire rate per minute. Obviously, as you can see, 350 compared to 260. So obviously you have to accumulate for higher fire rate and a little bit lower damage compared to lower fire rate and higher damage per bullet. And then obviously, I guess the big thing for the MDR that sort of puts it a little bit above the surplus SVD, in my personal opinion, is the magazine size. If you're sort of using both these weapons as like a mini assault rifle slash marksman rifle, the MDR does excel a little bit better in this category, just because of the fact that you have 20 bullets compared to 10. But looking at the actual stats for the weapons, obviously the surplus SVD is going to be without a doubt more accurate than the MDR. Main reason for that is obviously because it's a mini sniper rifle. Obviously it's categorized as a marksman rifle, and the Urban MDR is an exotic assault rifle, and also you're shooting the gun faster with the Urban MDR than you are shooting than the surplus SVD. But there is one thing that I really can notice when using these two weapons, and that is that I can definitely tell the difference between the reload speeds of the two weapons. Obviously you guys can see that the MDR does have a little bit faster reload speed. It's not that noticeable, but honestly for me, since I use a lot of these weapons in the game, and specifically these two weapons, since I've been trying to make builds with these weapons, showing you guys maybe builds you guys could go for if you guys might not have been lucky enough to have the MDR, I can definitely tell the reload speed with the MDR. It does make a difference, but for some people it might not really be that big of a difference. Going on to the range, once again, this is an assault rifle, and the SVD is a marksman rifle slash sniper rifle, so obviously the range is going to be a little bit higher for the marksman rifle SVD. And then lastly, the stability. It's really not that noticeable for me personally, but the stability is a little bit higher on the Urban MDR. Now, also keep this in mind that this is an exotic weapon, so the exotic talent on the MDR that you cannot reroll or change or recalibrate is distracted, and it is actually a pretty decent talent for the weapon as well. So your damage is increased by 18% against targets with a status effect. So if anyone gets hit and they have a status effect, you're going to be doing a extra basically 20% damage to them, which is pretty significant. But obviously that's just one talent. You could re-roll the other two talents as well. But obviously don't take away just because this weapon is an exotic and the other is not. Now obviously the Urban MDR is better than the SVD in my personal opinion. Hint, it's a very exotic weapon. Or not, it's an exotic weapon, and it's very hard to get for some people. Some people have extremely good luck, but for me, I've only gotten this one. And honestly, if I didn't have the Urban MDR, I would definitely use the Surplus SVD. Don't take anything away, or just any SVD in general. Don't take anything away from this weapon. It's very, very good, especially if you're really accurate with it. The 3 gear sets I would probably recommend is probably maybe a Predator's Mark if you guys have like a good build with it, and it's an easy build for most players that are just beginning the game to build. And then the other 2 main gear sets that most people would probably use with these with this type of weapon is probably going to be something like Sentry's Call or Striker. If you're extremely accurate with it and you don't spray a lot of bullets down, and you're sort of like a tick type of player where you shoot 1 bullet at a time rather than just spraying your whole clip, you might want to use something like a Strikers. But if you're the type player like me, how you have to play a little bit slower with MDR, you can't just run up and you're using SVD. I would probably recommend using a Sentry's Call build with this, because you have the headshot damage on the weapon, which is usually around 160 to 165%. And then if you stack that with some decent headshot mods or critical hit mods, you can make a pretty decent Sentry's Call build with that. Now, obviously, if you guys want another weapon choice for me, obviously the Urban MDR, but like I said, don't take anything away from this Surplus SVD, because this is a very, very underrated weapon. I really think you guys should give the Surplus SVD a try if you guys have not already. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you guys did, make sure you drop a like on it. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Peace.